Hello, all. Welcome to the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today, on June 8th, 2020, we will be discussing the impact of COVID-19 on private industries and the appropriate steps to take in order to move forward with respect to all parties involved.
Hello, I am the Chief Medical Officer for Boeing and would like to bring forward the current situation from a medical standpoint. There were over 26,587 COVID-19 cases reported in LA County during May, and Boeing has been taking several precautions to prevent the spread. In order to ensure safety of our employees and their families, we had a lockdown of our sites near the end of March and reopened in mid-April. Following the return of our employees, we took the following measures in order to mitigate the spread of the virus, including staggered work shifts, social distancing, proper sanitation stations, and protective gear. Specifically, those who worked in close proximity were provided with PPE. Temperature checks were also implemented, and those who had any symptoms would be sent home immediately. Additionally, virtual meetings were being held to allow for communication between those who worked remotely and those who worked on site. We will continue to implement the proper procedures to protect the health of all our employees and their families. Moving forward, Kaylee, the Chief Financial Officer of Boeing, will discuss the economic implications of the pandemic on the plant.
Hello, everyone. As you all know, the pandemic has had a severe impact on the aviation industry, and Boeing has suffered $2.4 billion in losses this quarter alone. The reduction in airline production and demand has forced us to make some tough decisions about the size of our workforce, but we're trying our best to keep our plants open and safe for our hardworking Angelinos. I'll pass it off to our head of HR, Rachel Gonzalez, to talk about our updated operations and the steps we've taken to mitigate the spread of COVID at our sites.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the head of HR for Boeing Manufacturing here in Los Angeles. As Chief Medical Officer Sahara mentioned previously, Boeing has gone through extensive efforts to ensure that we implement and abide by the LA Department of Public Health's recommendations for minimizing the spread of COVID-19. Although we have attempted to mitigate the risk by implementing safe practices, the burden of this pandemic has been heavy on our employees.
Thank you for alerting us on the protocol shifts at Boeing. I heard we have a reporter in the building who wants to share employee testimony. Are they present?
Yes, I am the attending reporter for the pandemic news, and last week we managed to interview one of your employees to discuss the impact of the pandemic at the workplace and in his personal life. Here is a video recording of the interview to hear what he has to say. Good morning. I am Helena, live from El Segundo, here with an employee from Boeing. The employee has asked not to be identified to protect his job. Tell us a little bit how Boeing is keeping you and other employees safe and some of the challenges associated with it.
Well, I'm grateful to be an essential worker and still have my job because a lot of the people I know lost their job. Boeing has also stepped up their safety improvements and are working to improve conditions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. But there's still that lingering fear among a lot of us workers, especially because social distancing is exercised on the factory floor, but everyone is still crammed together inside the planes. The conditions in the factory are at odds with the official guidance Boeing offered the workforce to help contain the spread of COVID-19. People are working closely together or exiting together in large crowds. There's dirty bathrooms out of hand sanitizer and paper towels. People suspected of infection staying in place, tools and parts passed around from one worker to another, and cleaning of the workspace seems at times merely cursory.
The pandemic has certainly brought many challenges to industries. Tell me, how has the pandemic impacted you personally?
Well, not only are there health and safety concerns within the company, but all of us commute from different parts of the region. And since Boeing is sending people out far and wide, our exposure to COVID increases. It's extremely unsettling, and we can't help but keep our minds off of it because we can also expose our kids and families, meaning I won't be able to come to work and won't be able to provide for my family during this challenging time.
Thank you for your time. This is the Pandemic News. Do you have any comments about this testimony?
Yes, I'd like to respond. Although Boeing has tried their best to accommodate our employees and keep them safe, the effects of this pandemic have taken a toll on every part of our employees' lives. As a company, we have temporarily shut down production at 787 facilities due to stay-at-home orders and have laid off 6,770 workers nationally through voluntary layoffs, natural turnover, and involuntary layoffs. There have been fewer and fewer people who come into work due to getting sick, and it has negatively impacted our overall production in the LA location, but across the country as well. After hearing their concerns expressed, we will strive to be better. We want to express our support for the countywide mask mandate as it helps us to keep our essential workers safe and our doors open for business. As you heard from one of our employees, balancing changes to home life while continuing to work on site has been a significant challenge. While we vow to support our employees as best we can with flexible shifts, childcare, and PTO, our employees undoubtedly benefit from your efforts. We hope to start implementing regular employee screenings and improve contact tracing among our employees who get sick. We want to protect our employees and their families as much as possible.
We hear what you all are saying, and we appreciate your efforts. What does Boeing need from the county to continue operations smoothly and safely?
Well, first off, we want to express our support for the countywide mask mandate, as it helps us keep our essential workers safe and our doors open for business. We also appreciate the county's financial commitment to diagnostic testing and contact tracing, and support the CARES Act funding that is being directly distributed to essential workers like our Boeing employees to fund childcare vouchers, as we know that it's been hard for employees to continue working on site while their children are at home full time. Today, we're requesting to contract with experienced county contact tracers and testing officials to support our on-site operations going forward. Having these public health professionals on site will ensure that potentially infected employees are promptly notified of their close contact with a COVID positive case and instructed to quarantine according to LA County guidelines. Our employees will feel safer coming to work knowing that all possible safety precautions have been put in place and that an experienced contact tracer is monitoring their exposure. Additionally, having testing officials on site to conduct daily or biweekly testing, for example, will ensure that our employees have consistent and convenient access to reliable tests. This will help prevent the spread of COVID on our floors and reduce the burden of off-site testing for our hardworking employees. We look forward to working with the LA County Department of Public Health to keep our hardworking Angelinos safe and the Boeing manufacturing floors open.
Thank you all. We will take all points discussed in this hearing into consideration and look forward to presenting any updates or supporting information in the near future. Until then, we appreciate Boeing's efforts in preventing the spread of COVID-19 within their workplace and requesting appropriate measures in order to do their part in these difficult times. Thank you.